Hello. Can you hear me okay and see me all right? I'm trying out my new equipment. Hello? Hey, Dr. A and B, is the sound okay? I'm trying out my new stuff. Can you hear me all right? Hey, Bruce. I'm trying. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm working with this new system I just set up. Sounds okay. Great. Okay. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Okay. All right. Oh man. Oh good. Hey guys. Hi Tippy. Hey Chi Town, Chicago. See you're not wearing V Motors this time. No kidding. Hey Johnny. Oh good. Oh I one of the things I'm doing, I got this new system. Hi Mark. Whoops. Let me see. This big thing right here they sent me. And so I thought, well, I'll try it out. Hey guys. Uh all right. Let's try this. I'm going to. I've got this some things now. I promise you guys gossip. Well, my gossip is is never the kind of gossip I see elsewhere. So let me talk about some things. First of all, hang on, I gotta get this thing right. There it is. First of all, I got an email, or not an email, but a comment from Tim Groenfeld, and we had, a week ago or so, I did a video on Groenfeld watches, and he said, well, one thing wasn't quite right, and he wanted to help me out. Hey, Chris Kloss, I'm sorry, MP. So anyway, this is the note that I got. He says, correction to your explanation of WNS indicator. It is indeed to let you know the state of the crown, but instead of pulling the crown out, it is pushed into the case, resulting in a tassel and audible click to switch between winding and setting. So when I said that you pull it out for winding and setting, that was incorrect. You have to push it in for winding and setting, which I think is very cool. And I really want to thank Tim for taking the time to write and get me all squared away. Williams Watches, Vladimir, how you doing, man? Oh, good. The it is an improvement. Well, on the sound, that's good. Um, okay, let's see. Okay, so that was one piece of gossip. That's the best I can do. Uh, Now, the next one is sort of interesting, sort of weird, really. I got the. You may remember the other day I had a video on this Bulgari that I got for my son, and he was he had it, and somebody said, I think that is an octo solo tempo rather than an octo Roma. Now, this is the thing about those two. Hey, Andres. So the thing about these two different versions is that the solo tempo was the more expensive one. It was around 7,000, and but it was treated with the DLC, the diamond like carbon, and it's also made out of titanium, which is sort of cool. And but it came with a rubber strap, and this one came with a gator strap with a what are they called, deployant clasp on it. And so, yeah, I wasn't sure what it was. It was one of those things that they decided, well, look, we're going to have Octo Roma with with these characters. We'll call it an Octo Roma, and instead of a rubber strap, we're going to put on a gator strap, and instead of a pin buckle, we're going to put on a deployant. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I got when he goes into Bulgaria in New York, they'll say, "Oh, it's I see you got either a Roma or a solo tempo." Anyway, that was the outfit that sold it to me. Shopworn had it as a Roma. I don't know. And it could have been, they're going from one to the other. They sort of had some transition ones. Like I said, it's a mystery. But anyway, I thought you guys should know it because you don't like to be misinformed. Okay, so that was my second thing. Now the third thing that I wanted is sort of gossip after a fact, I suppose, is that on March 2nd, Monday, the Horological Society of New York is having a presentation called The Phenomena of Resonance. And it's going to be presented by Francois Paul Journe and another guy named Osama Sindi. Now, you may never have heard of Osama Sindi, but if you're at all into FP Journe watches, I think it's like a blog or something. It's called the Journe Guy, and the Journe Guy is going to be there too. His name is Osama Sindi, and I think he's from Toronto, Canada. So anyway, if you're a member of the society, or you're thinking of joining, or you're going to be around there, or you live in in and around New York City, they do now have tickets available. I got mine yesterday. I asked to get one for my wife, and I couldn't. I don't know. It's something else. Hey, geezer. Anyway, so what do you guys? Let me see. What else? Oh, yeah. There's another thing. This is also involving Bulgari. Bulgari. The guy who can say it right is Federico. He knows how to say it right. I get Bulgari. It's not Bulgari. It's Bulgari. Something like that. Anyway, what they did, this is really interesting. Now, they're part of the Louis Vuitton group, which is a French-owned outfit. And they dropped out of this year's Basel World. Now, Basel World took a big hit the last year, I think. Rolex dropped out, and some other big ones did too. I think Swatch may have dropped out as well. But here's the funny thing about it. I'm not sure why Bulgari dropped out, because the other LVMH, the Lanvin, Moet, Hennessy, the name of that French group, LVMH is what they call it. Zenith, Hublot, and some of the other ones that are part of that group are going to go. So anyhow, that's how things are shaping up. All right, let's see. Anything else? Oh, one thing. My good friend Clyde, I mean, not Claude. It's not a Claude. Clyde got an H. Moser, which I was very, very happy to see, and he got a beautiful one. So that's sort of a neat thing if you're into H. Mosers. Mark J., what is Basel World? Basel World is a great big show that they have every year in Switzerland. I think it's called Basel World. Someone can get, Tippy, you're right. Louis Vuitton, Moet, Hennessy, but they call it's actually called Moet, Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, but then they call it LVMH. Go figure. Okay, what can we begin calling Basel World the Rolex and Patek show? I didn't. Did they drop out? I don't know. Something happened bad. I'm not sure if they're still going. You can call it anything you want. Oh, look what happened to SIHH. Now they're calling it Worlds of Wonder or something like that, and they're having it sort of at the same time as Basel World. Anyway, Mark J., you didn't listen. If you butcher the spelling, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, even if it's spelled right. Okay, let's see. Swatch left Basel. You're right, Tim. Let's see what else. Yeah, Watches and Wonders. That's it, geezer. That was what I was trying to think of. Now that they had another road show that they called Watches and Wonders. related somehow to SIHH. SIHH is set up by Richemont. So, okay, let's see. Beazle World, Bruce. All right. By the way, do you think of the new Brigade Blue Enamel Dial? Brigade Blue Enamel Dial. I haven't paid that much attention to it. I've seen it and looks okay. I'm not doing cartwheels, but it's nice. Well, so I'm trying to think what else is coming up. What gossip do you guys have? Oh, let me show you my watch. I'm wearing one of my favorite watches. This is my chronometer Cervane. It's just time only with a power reserve indicator, but those are the kinds I like the best. Hey, Carlos, how's things in Panama? Uh, we've been having nice weather here. I think our high today was 37 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty good. Thank you, Geezer. Um, are there any new Seiko Passage or GF offerings that pique your interest? Not really. I'm sorry, but there aren't. The let me let me explain. I've got it. If you take a look at the quality of the GS, okay, and you look at the quality of I mean, when you put one on, they look like $1 million. If you look at the quality of the engineering of their movements, they also look like $1 million. But it's a spring drive. I guess it drives me nuts. The watch that I really like from Seiko is the one I own, and that's the Seiko 5. And the Seiko 5. I like it. I mean, it's sort of like people with G-Shocks. They love their G-Shocks, but it's one of those things. Nothing but good things to say about Seiko, but it's, just sort of not my cup of tea. Like there are a lot of weird watches that I like that nobody else does, and it doesn't bother me if they don't, it's sort of good for me because that means that fewer people buy them. And so if there's anything to the supply and demand, it's a good thing for me. Hey, Batu, how are you? Uh, yeah, you got that one right. Okay, let's see. So what else is new? What else is going on? Like I said, this is just sort of a gossip session. What I wanted to do was to try out this new system in terms of the sound and everything else because this thing has buttons on it and I can have it do all different kinds of tricks and so forth. But I just wanted to have a simple thing so that, excuse me, you guys could hear okay. And see, you hear that, man? You can get all the detail there. Okay, if you had a Moser Pioneer blue dial on watch buck, it looks great. It really does. Those are beautiful. What do they call it? The Blue Lagoon or something like that. Geez, those are gorgeous. The thing is that I sort of made a rule for myself is that I'm trying to keep no more than 2 from any one brand. And the only violation I have of that is Beauvais, because I count the one my wife has, and then I have my 1930, and then I have that one from the 1930s, my monoretro pump, but I don't count that. Let's see, what do you got here? Talking about gossip, Horology House. Channel is back up and commercial, but commercial to disabled. Yeah, did anybody ever lose any money on that or anything like that? Hey, Richard A, how you doing, man? Is that I don't know how they got scrambled up. Any outfit can get scrambled up business wise somehow, and they often do. The other one was Time of Switzerland. That was, I got one of the best deals on a watch I ever got from them about, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. I got my Henry double hairspring from them. Great service, great price, great everything. and my Henry has been a wonderful watch. So, when I went to get my next one, this whatever happened to him, I don't know. I just don't know. I know that they said it was a family thing. I don't know. Do I know the current prices of Rolex and Omega? No, I really don't. Because there's not watches I'm interested in buying. More so, probably Omega because I've been talking about them, and I know about the. I think they went up a little. The one I like is the what's it called, the Air King or something like that. I like it because it's got exactly the same movement as the Milgauss, and it's something like $2,000 less. But everybody loves the Milgauss. I don't blame them for liking the Milgauss. I like that little lightning bolt they have for a secondhand, but yeah, you know. Okay, hey Orange Hand, what's new? Uh, I might get a sin over a Hamilton. I tell you, there are a lot of people who are really nuts about Sin watches and Hamilton watches, and it's a brand that, again, one of those things that I don't know anything. I don't spend time with them, but I know that both brands have some really excellent watches. So what can I say about that? One that I ended up writing a whole big thing about. Somebody has a simple question in one of the comments, and I'll write him a thesis. I don't know what's wrong with me, but he was saying he didn't like the idea of what was it, Tissot. He said he just you know couldn't see himself ever buying a watch that has watches that are under $100 or something like that. And I can understand that. You got some cheap watch and do something fancy with it. But the story behind Tissot is, to me, is a lot more complex. Is that at one time Tissot and Omega were part of the same company, and then they got bought and sold and bought and sold. And initially, what the plan was that Tissot would be the affordable watches, and the Omegas would be the good ones. Well, what happened was that, once it became the moon watch back in what, 68 or something like that, 69, goes to the moon. And then the next thing that you have this uh, uh, George Daniels coaxial escapement. So here you got this really wonderful watch. And so there's a period, there's a possibility of Tissot going up without bumping into what they want for Omega. And so this is where the Powermatic 80 comes in. And so you can get a watch for a really good price, even though it's got the Tissot name on it. I don't like Tissot. Well, you have to sort of look at it in a larger context. And hey, that's pretty cool. They made a Tissot a couple years ago that had it was called the Anti-Magnetic originally, but it wasn't anti-magnetic. So they had to drop the anti-magnetic name. That was a wonderful watch. They had the thing as a 6498 movement in it, and they had a big picture window in the back showing off for what a great watch. And it was under $1,000, and it was really a nice little watch. It still is, but they had I don't know if they actually produced any that said anti-magnetic, but the newer ones didn't have that on there. Okay, what else you got going there? Hey, Mark. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Cellini's? Now, there's. Are you talking about Rolex Cellini's? Are you talking about Cellini's, a jeweler on Park Avenue in New York, Williams watches? Hey, Sessuch. Cellini's are underrated. Very nice watch. Look great on the wrist. Okay, so if you're going to talk about Cellini's, say Rolex Cellini's, and if you're talking about the jewelers, say Cellini's jewelers. Okay, let's see. What is it? Tissot makes one of the most affordable COCs. Yes, they do. Chi-Town from California. Chi-Town. How is there a Chi-Town, California? Yes, they do. That was a great point, Chi-Town. Uh, what is the Sin Ho Horology watch? Oh man, it's really a cool one, and I don't know the number on it. What they did is that they put in one of those movements that Marco Lang built, and if the Urek, what is it? Urek WD, Urek Werk Dresden. It's got one of those movements in it, and they only have one model that does that, and it's God, I don't know the name of it though, but you're right. That's a really sweet watch. Um, okay, let's see what sends subject to. Where'd he go? Um, let's see. There you are. Our underrated, very nice watch looks great. I agree with that too. Is there's some styles that are really popular, and Rolex makes a nice Cellini. The only problem with Rolex Cellinis is that they don't have an exhibition window in the back, and I can see why you wouldn't want to with a diver, where you want to have keep them double waterproof. But with a dress watch, what are you gonna do? Fall off your yacht? Something like that. Okay, I remember Urek made a Breguet Sympathy homage. Uh, I think we're talking about two different things, Tippy. Um, One is the one in Dresden that's part of Lang and Heim now, with no Lang or Hein. And the other one is Urek, which is a different, whole different thing altogether. Um, Okay, Bruce. What's up, Bruce? Hey, Bruce, how you doing? Had not much exposure to Chopard. Chopard, which you like are now discontinued. Any of the LUCs I like. A lot of the older Chopards have ETAs in them. And again, as long as you know that, you're okay. Sin 6200 is a how the hot horology, high horology. Um, Alpine Eagle is the new Lucent steel alloy. Is awesome. Shines like platinum. Platinum. Speaking of shining like platinum, this is the only thing I found out about platinum. I can't tell the difference between platinum, stainless steel, and white gold, and I have all three. And if they mixed them all up, and I just saw the metal, I couldn't tell which is which. Okay, let's see. Oh, the Cellini Prince. Now that's yeah. Now that's a horse of a different color. Love the Cellini Prince. If the thing about the Cellini Prince, it shows what Rolex can do if it really wants to. That it has one of the most beautiful set of bridges and everything, and that's on the back that you can see. The other thing of it is that they took the Giloche from the front, and then they have it in the movement on the back. I mean, that watch is really a fabulous watch. I keep talking to myself that I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one, and I always see something I want more. But maybe someday I will. I like this Rolex Cellini Prince. Is beautiful, beautiful watch. Really like it a lot. But I like I like everything. I think the next watch that I really want to get realistically, well, two things. One, I want to sell some watches, and the other one I like. I just love that. How come I'm the only one that says Jaja Lakutra wrong? But it's that true second. I'm still just love that the jumping second. And when we were talking about the Gronfeld 1 Hertz, that boy, I tell you, that's just thinking, there's about a $70,000 difference in the prices. And so maybe that would be, the what's it called, the Geophysic 2 second. Love that watch. Let's see. Have I told you that the El Primero is increasing by $1,100 this March? Doesn't affect me. Anything I'm not planning on buying doesn't affect me. I have my Zenith Elite, and that thing works beautifully well. So I don't know. Excuse me. Um, it's interesting though. I wonder why they're doing that because they're one of the other ones. Zenith is owned. I mean, is owned by that Louis Vuitton group, and I wonder why they're doing $1,100. Maybe because I've known they've been doing a lot of development. Most of the development they do is they put more. They give more methamphetamines to the little hamster they got running that movement. That thing just goes as fast as possible. I don't Also does jumping seconds. Yes, he does, Geezer. Exactly. Yeah, good point. Uh, he has in the Chronomet Optimum, which is a cousin of this one, very expensive cousin, that has jumping seconds too. But what they call them is mort seconde, which is dead seconds. I love that. It's like, oh boy, you know, that would be a watch to put a skull on. That would be cool. Have a watch with a skull on it and say dead second seconde mort. Oh, let's see. The Zenith Defy Lab with 15 hertz movement release date has been moved back several times. That's interesting. I'll tell you something else too. There's a Bulgari coming out with I think they're going to make a chronograph. Now they made the chronograph. They made a chronograph watch that won the Grand Prix for chronographs, but I don't think that had an El Primero in it. They were talking about another one. They're going to put an El Primero in, and that could have been a fatter one, than the one that they had, sort of the Finissimo style that they had that won the chronograph Grand Prix. Okay. Whoa, blue shirt it just picked up. You got a Minty 63 Omega Seamaster, manual wine and steel. Bruce, why didn't you tell us? This is great. That's wonderful. Happy birthday, too. Let's see. Hey, Northeast Groover, how you doing? Hey, Crappy, how you doing, man? Let's see. What else is going on? Birth year watches. That was my birth year watch is a sundial. Okay, what else do you guys have? Let's see. Bulgari has the thinnest chrono. Yeah, that's right. Since such, that's true. What's the best alternative to an FPJ? Price wise, I would say a Moser. An H Moser would be, but sometimes I'd rather have an H Moser than some of the FPJs. But some other ones of Woot and Lannen would be, but they're really expensive. They're sort of a upscale expense wise. Groenfeld, any of the Groenfelds would be too. So I don't know. Yema, let's see what Yema just had a sale and announced future price increase effective May 1st, 2020. Okay. It's too bad because Yema is such a good buy. I love those watches. They're really great. Let's see what you got. 100. Okay, the Bulgari Octo needs loom. Okay. They've got now the Octo, they've got all these different levels of Octos. The first level was a solo tempo. Then they went to the Roma, and then the Finissimo I think is the real thin one. I'm not too up on the whole line of them. Okay, what are you guys else up to? Have you ever looked at Fortis, a cheap watch, but the first company to make automatic watch? No, I'll tell you the truth, I really haven't spent much time looking at Fortis. I know of them, and I've seen them, but and they have some interesting whatchamacallit, dial design, but nothing really. Hey, Junior, how you doing, man? I just got a Zeitwerk for my birthday. Wow, you must have been very, very good, C Lobo. You got a Zeitwerk, a Longa Zeitwerk, or a Wimpy or what kind? Let's see. Are you familiar with the Rolex 6062 annual calendar? No, I'm not. Um, I really don't know very much about Rolex, except for their sort of mainline contemporary ones, and even that I wouldn't ever get into an argument, even a discussion with someone who's really up on those things. Just not my cup of tea. But they're very popular. Hey, Ryan H, how you doing, man? You don't generally talk about this stuff in lower price ranges, but what are your thoughts on the lower end micro brand boom? Here's the thing about the micro brand, and I think people really got them all confused. I think, and I could be wrong. There's some micro brands that are nothing more than somebody picking the parts and putting them together and having their name put on the rotor. That's it. Uh, as long as you know what you're getting in that context, then they're fine. One of the best buys, I think, I love, as a matter of fact, are Ophion. They have cases by Wooten Lannon and Caton. Uh, they have um, they have that what's it called? Uh, nah, they have that movement. Teletime, something like that. Techno time. They have that techno time movement, and they have some other things. Another brand by they Atelier. We talked about that. They have some big fancy name. You had to give your name easy things so people like me could remember them. But they have that. What's his name has, and they're really good ones because they he went and got Vossure movements for them, and then he's got some other some nice things. But there are other ones I've seen out there, and they'll put some little engraving on it and kick on an ETA 6498 and kick it out the door. Would you enjoy wearing a $1,600 Oris pointer date, even though it's not the price of roll? Yeah, listen, don't keep bringing up. You talking about Rolex and Patek. They're both nice watches. But they're so common. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just sort of like not as interesting to me. Not that they're not wonderful watches to other people. I have a Patek Philippe. I There's another one I'd like to get, but for the most part, they're not as interesting as what's going on with FP Journe, with Moser, with Parmigiani. Parmigiani, they got a lot of interesting stuff happening. So anyway, so what do I think about the where was crappy? Where'd you have that? The Oris pointer date. If it's a watch I'm thinking of, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, preach. Blake, I'm a preacher. I don't want to be a preacher. Let's see. It's also owned by a former IWC watchmaker. Oh, IWC, those are the guys that they give all of these names to their movements, but they're really ETAs and Solitas. I tell you, why do they do that? I'm perfectly happy buying a watch that says it's got an ETA, it's got a Solita in it, and tells me which one it is. And why don't they do that? Because that's what they're doing. Instead, they give it call it IWC or Breitling or Cartier or one of those things. They give us some phony baloney name, and then they want to charge quote high horology prices for it. Man, we're not suckers. We're not that. We may, well, maybe we are for what we pay for watches and the idea that we have to have another one, but we're not that big of suckers. We're getting smarter. Um, Parmigiano Reggae, I don't know what that is. Oris pointer date is fun. I personally like the Aquas. Yeah, that's a cool. I don't have a pointer date. In fact, I have only a couple watches with dates, and they're never right because I don't change them. I just wear them for the time. The one that's the most fun is Harry Winston with the Bio Retrograde, and I get to see the seconds go. Whip. They do that. That's really fun. And then on the dates, they have the day of the week, and that's on a retrograde. And up the date comes, and then they have a little window date at the bottom. The window dates I like the best are on my Parmigiani because you can see the day before and the day after. Uh, let's see what's going on. Williams watches. Do you have love for the Patek Calatrava 5119J 36 millimeter with a display back? Sure, I do. Yeah, Williams watches. Excuse me. The one I really like though is a Gondolo, and naturally the ones I like they quit making. And there's a Gondolo. I think it's 5421, something like that. But it's really a cool watch. It's got sort of the looks like it's some gangster in the 30s would wear it. I like it. Okay. Michael, you have an important passage I need you to read. Okay, Michael, you can text message it to me or something like that, or just put it on the comments. I just wanted to, after you saw your explanation, Yerma, I looked into them and picked up the Superman 400. They're now at 1149. That you may be you're a different kind of sucker now, Jay. Let's see. My date likes Wendy, my pointer. Aunt. All right, let's see. You could get a Brigade 10 hertz. I don't want a 10 hertz. I mean, I don't want to buy a rented mule either. Beat the bang, bang, bang. I tell you, there is a watch though. There's really a high speed watch that I like. That's that Brigade that has the suspended on magnets, and so the balance is zipping around really fast, but there's no friction because it's suspended by magnets. That's an amazing watch. It's also super expensive too. Brigade, though, I like Brigade Tradition. Those are very cool watches. They had anything that looks like Abraham Brigade made it. I think those are sort of cool. Okay, what else you got? You could get a beret. I don't want a 10 hertz. Let me see what it's on. What are your thoughts on Chronomet Blue? Geezer, a lot of people have them. They're like a favorite, and their prices are going through the roof. I mean, when I got this guy, I could have got a blue. I could have walked into the boutique on Madison Avenue in New York and picked one up, right off the shelf. And I'm trying to think. They were like 22 back then. They were the entry level watch, but now I think they're already up to like 24, 26,000 already. And I like the Tatantum, and I like the color. But this is the one I liked. I really do like this watch. First of all, a white background with dark blue or black indexes and numbers and hands. I can see that a lot better. It's just easy. I can see it at a glance. Of course, then I go out and buy that Moser with the brown Moser with the gold hands. I don't have any sense. I'm a watch collector. Do you think that JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual is a good deal? I don't know if it's a good deal or not, because I'm not sure what you mean by a good deal, but I think it's a really interesting watch. Generally, Jaja LeCoultre has some great watches at great prices, so that's really, I think, anything by Jaja LeCoultre is great. I got my wife a Reverso years ago. Thing looks brand new still, and it works perfectly. I love, she loves that Reverso. It's one thing, put it on. And what she did, the bracelet was too big. And, there must have been 10 different people who said, "Oh, I can take it down for you." But she didn't want it because she wears it like a bracelet. Me, I don't, if it, I couldn't do that. Let's see what else. Let's see what are you talking about. Okay, Brigade should be bought before the price increases in gray market. Ah, you might be that might be true. Okay, what is I like versatile, but I must. Oh, okay. You know, um, Blake, as far as complications are concerned, I don't know. I think it'd be sort of cool to have a retropont, but would I ever use it? Probably not, or rarely. The kind of complications I like are ones you can't do anything with because they're inside the watch, like a remontoire. Those I really like, or even a fusee and chain. They're all about keeping the time as accurate as possible. And it's not an accuracy thing. It's just sort of a cool thing to try to keep it accurate. Here's the best we can do with mechanical watches. So those kind of complications I find interesting. I like hand dates. I think they're just sort of cool, but I'm really not into complications. Some people are, you know, that's cool too. Vacheron, if the price is right and if only finishing is better. Vacheron, man, Vacheron Constantin is very proud of their finishing. Now, on their this may have been a mistake that Vacheron Constantin made when they came out with their 56. Now they're two let me steel entry level ones they have with the Val Fleurier movement. Well, if when you think of that, good grief, they're not even Geneva seal watches. Why should I pay a lot for those? Exactly. The problem is that right above, I mean, there's the version of 56 above the Val Fleurier movement ones are really good watches, and they have true Vacheron Constantin movements in it. So it's what they end up getting overlooked, and they got some very good ones. Um, so that's something that's worth looking at. But I still think the Vacheron does a very good job on the finishing. Okay, by the way, have you seen Glasuda Pano something retrograph? I don't know. I like their panel line, but I don't a retrograph. I don't think so. I'll look at that, Tippy. Thanks. Do you have a go to brand for buying a beret? Yeah, FP Jorn. So that's he's French, but the watch isn't. The watch is Swiss. Um, I don't know. Nobody asks about baseball hats. Are you a baseball player? I have a lot of baseball hats too. I'm not a baseball player. Okay, let's see. I'm back. Sorry, just stepped away for lunch. Well, you lost your place in line, Mark. Okay, what's up? Let's see. Let's see. Nothing wrong with the VC except the price. Actually, you can find some really good buys on Vacheron Constantins. They have, it. Yeah, the price is high, but they do have some really good watches. That triple calendar of theirs I really like. But then I know, I wouldn't take care of the triple calendar. I wouldn't set all the dates. I'd leave it, and that's so. I'm as much as I like that. I don't know. Uh, the pan retrograph is programmable and it can also ring. The finishing is on par with the Lang, according to Tim Mosso. Okay. Um, Programmable. I'm not. Is it mechanically programmable, or does it hook up to to the internet? I'm not sure what you mean by programmable. Um, I mean, it's like when you set the alarm on a watch with an alarm, that's programmable in that sense. Okay, let's see. If you get a panel retrograde, I will send TGV to your house and steal it and wrap it with a squally. Oh my goodness. Let's see. A great brand. Oh, Harboring. Yeah. Harboring. I tell you, I got my Harboring too. And the problem with it's like the problem with my Harboring 2, it's perfect. I know that sounds weird to say. It's still, of all of the watches I have, I wind it up and it's more accurate than anything I have. That Harboring 2 is such good watch craftsmanship, just beautifully good watch craftsmanship. And the price is so reasonable for what it really is, a handmade watch. Love those things. Okay, truth fears. Okay, I'm ignoring your post, truth fears. I'm sorry. Only VC like used to be the BOAC VC. Oh. Okay. Say no, you don't like VCs. Okay, there I'm not ignoring you anymore, Gildy. Let's see. What features do you think the new FP Joint Resonance will have in it to make it different to the previous models? I hope they go back to the original. I mentioned at the outset that on March 2nd, Monday, the Horological Society of New York is having a presentation on resonance by F.P. Journe, and then this guy who calls himself the Journe guy. That's sort of interesting. I did spent a lot of time doing a video on resonance, and I had all these swinging balls and everything. What a mess! But it did show resonance. It started with two pendulums, and the pendulums work toward resonance. Go to YouTube and put in resonance, and all these put in resonance experiments, and they got all of these really cool things to show you how resonance works. It's really neat. By and large, too, or by the way, resonance really started off as a problem. They said, you got some resonance and it screws up your time. So that's sort of a little story. Okay, let's see what else. Would you consider your Felix an everyday watch, considering it's only a three-barred? Oh man, I don't worry about how far in the water it goes. I really don't. So it's not a matter to me. In fact, I have no idea. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I got this diver and it goes down to 50 feet or something like that," but they never go diving, unless they fall in the pool or something. I don't know. If I had the best Rolex Submariner that was actually designed for going diving, I wouldn't wear it to the pool. Not because it's a Rolex, but because I wouldn't wear any good watch in the water. Just, I'd get a G-Shock. Okay, let's see. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm way over my time limit, and my wife is gonna. He's got enough chores for me. Thank you all very much for coming today, because today was just, I wanted to check out my new equipment, and I hope it works better than my old stuff. I mean, my new microphone, and I have this so I can sort of hear a little better what I'm doing. And this has different settings so I can sort of keep everything together. Anyway, guys, thanks again, and hope to see you later. Bye-bye.